because see, people talk about buying businesses, and a lot of times when you go into this realm, you'll hear people say, oh yeah, I know about seller financing. But you know about different stuff when it comes to leverage buyouts that is beyond seller financing. So how did you come into that kind of knowledge? How did you get there?
That's the mentors. That was all the mentors. And then also, as I kept doing it, I kept finding new things, so I would add to the list. Like I remember when I found out that you could like let's say I was going to buy a business that was $1 million, and let's say I got 60% seller financing. That's a common amount. I get as high as 80% in some cases. So 60% is 600,000 that's going to be gone, right? Or not gone.
Paid for over time.
Paid for over time, and we're going to use the business to pay it, right? So now you may say, yeah, but Beez, what about the other 400,000? That means you had to come over 400,000 to pay the seller? No. Let's say, and I found this out in the last 2 years, when everyone was getting the PPP loans and the EIDL loans, there was this one business that I was trying to acquire, it didn't go through. And by the way, everybody, there's plenty of them that don't go through, right? Don't think every time I talk to somebody, I get a business and I got hundreds and thousands of them. No, I talk to 20, I get 2, but that's fine. That's cash flow, amazing cash flow, and it's passive from the way that I structure it, right?
Truly passive.
Truly passive, right? Well, no, let's say this, because I do, as an investor, I typically do like quarterly earnings reports and stuff like that. So
that's still passive.
If you want to say that, well, it's not technically passive, Beez. Okay.
No, that's passive. Anybody who doesn't understand. So, okay, let me say this. You showing up for a meeting to look over numbers to make sure that your money's coming in, that's not work. So to me, that's still passive. Work is you need to show up to the office and be involved in the day-to-day activities. That's work.
Come in.
Exactly. You didn't do nothing. You, Beez, didn't do anything for that money to come in. You went over reports to ensure that everybody's doing their job.
Sure. So now with the EIDL loan, I was able to then say, hey, how about I assumed, I'm sorry, the seller had like a $500,000 EIDL loan, right? Now, if y'all know, EIDL is the best loan you could have, other than if you're loaning from yourself in the infinite bank, of course.
Yes, indeed.
Right?
Yes, indeed.
The EIDL loan, great repayment terms. You may get 30 years or more. You may get super low interest, right? Great repayment terms. So I said to the seller, how about, because usually when you buy a business, they have to pay off the debt first, and they may keep the cash in the bank and then you come in, right? So I was like, well, how about I assume your debt? You'd be willing to do that? I didn't even know you could do that. Yeah, let me, what we could do is I'll take on the debt. You reduce that amount of the cost of the acquisition price, and then we'll handle it for you. So at this time, I wasn't 100% sure that you could assume an EIDL loan. So I had to go to my resources in the back end and say, hey, is there any issues? Can we assume this loan? Is the government gonna require anything? Blah, blah. And they verified it. So I don't know if it's still the case if they allow it, but it was then. So now if I got 60% seller financing, which is 600,000, and I assumed a $500,000 EIDL loan, I actually ended up with, going over that 1 million that was needed.
Yeah.
So I could take 100,000 and put it in my pocket or something.
Okay. Yep.
Not with the EIDL loan, no, because you have to be very meticulous on what you allocate it for. But you get the idea. That's what it is to do creative deal structuring. I just did those two things with seller financing and something else. Maybe I add something called DDP, deferred down payment, where I could pay the balance. If the EIDL loan didn't exist, I could pay the 400,000 over time. And when I say time, I'm talking about 30, 60, 90 days, not as long as the 5 years for the seller financing. But what does that mean? If I got to negotiate terms that gave me DDP, let me pay the 400,000 over time, and let's say I could pay it over 90 days. Well, guess what? If I did it right in the acquisition, I take over the business on day 1. Day 2, I could go to a bank and say, like a revenue-based financing loan from a fintech bank.
Yep.
And I know some people may not know what that is, but basically all you need to know is that instead of it looking at my credit, personal credit, instead of it looking at the business credit, it's just looking at the revenue in the business over the last few months. And yes, I just took over the business yesterday, but it is my business and the entity existed all these months prior. And they're going to say, oh, cool. We see that you're running 200,000 a month through the merchant account or whatever. We'll give you a $200,000 loan, and we'll take out 5, 10, 15, 20% out of every transaction going forward until it's paid off. So again, the business is paying for that loan too, and I take that loan and pay it to the seller, right? So I just stacked the deal with multiple things. And we have in our community, we got like over a couple hundred things that you could use, and you may never use all of them. You may only use 5 to 10 in any deal, but you have the resources there, and it just proves how creative you can get if you don't let yourself be your own roadblock.
Okay. So another thing, you keep mentioning your community. What is your community? What are you talking about?
So after doing this for a while, I started saying, man, everybody needs to know about this. This is just so awesome. And I didn't want to be a internet guru or a teacher. I still don't want to be nothing like that. That's why I don't even really promote it that much technically.
That's why I'm making you talk about it.
But I'm so happy that I started the BBI, the Business Builders Institute, and the few hundred people we have in there. It's a nice community. Everybody is just excited and ready to roll. And we talking different level things. We're not talking about no plays. We are talking about sustainable strategies. We're talking about generational wealth creating tactics and strategies. We celebrate the youth, right? We make sure that anyone that's between the ages of 16 and 21, they need to know this information for free. We got scholarships we give to them so that they could get in and learn these things, because that changes lives, man. If the young adults, I wish I knew this information when I was 17. I didn't learn it till I was almost 40.
Right.
So yeah, that's critical in my opinion.
So okay. So now let's explore just a little bit more, because we're coming to the top of the hour. One of the things that we need to explore is, somebody says, okay, Beez, you're telling me to buy a business. I'm just trying to get started in my business. Why would I want to buy one? Can you answer that?
Great question. Here's the thing. It is a head start that you get. Less than 5% of businesses even make it to 7 figures. On top of that, over 80% of businesses that start up are shut down in 5 years. That's that 5-year period of no escape. Or not no escape, what's a better thing? That uncertainty period, right? Yeah. Are you gonna make it? Oh no. But if you acquire a business that's older than 5 years, you acquire a business that's already at 7 figures or more, you got the head start. It already got the systems in place. You don't need to worry about, okay, I got to build up some systems. I need to hire some people. We got to get some leads and some sales. Oh, we got to run some ads and blah, blah. No, it's already happening. Everything's already happening. You get to see the information, the data for years prior to see, hey, are you just making this money right now, but before you weren't? Oh, no, okay, I see your P&Ls from the previous years too. Cool, you've been steadily rising in your top line revenue and your profit, your SDE.
So basically what you're telling me is that if I said I want to start a business today, I could buy a business as a head start. So it's kind of like if I want to run the 100-yard meter dash, I could buy a business and start at the 50-yard mark and still get my time counted for 100 meters. Is that what you're telling me?
I would say it like this. You want to run the 100-meter dash, you could buy a business and you already at the 100-meter. And from there, you're now preparing for cross-country running. You know what I'm saying? Because it's already there.
Got it.
I'm acquiring a nightclub right now. We should be closed by next week, right?
Yes.
With the nightclub, somebody asked me, oh, okay, cool. You're going to like change it up and make it like a more Black club or something because it was more a Latin club? I was like, no, why am I do that for? It's making that money that I wanted, that profit that I wanted, those employees that I want. It's making that already because it's a Latin nightclub and it's been open for 20 plus years. Why would I come in and feel like, yeah, I just know I could do it better? That's that mentality of, nobody can do it as good as me. That's not true.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Very true.
So that was critical to know that, I'm going to go in leave it as is, but then I'll see what I can add on top of it slowly. So that's why you are at that 100-meter already once you acquire, but now you can say, all right, yeah, I did. That was a great run, even though I had to run it. Now we want to see how we take it to the next race.
Okay.